welcome to this edition of Strong Perspective Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Keith Armstrong. I'm here with my brothers, Damon Armstrong and Jaquari Armstrong. We have the special guest tonight, and she came in just in time, Danielle Moore. How you doing, Dani? How's everything?
Hey, I'm
Listen,
good. I'm good.
Hey,
I'm
hey,
actually,
good
I
evening.
can't. How y'all doing?
How you doing?
Good.
Good, good.
So I was trying to get on my laptop,
uh-huh.
um, but I'm having some issues. So I'm on my phone. I'm gonna still try to get in on my laptop, so I don't have to hold the phone.
No, look, no doubt, no doubt. Look,
But I'm here.
just go on your laptop. Just go on through your email if you haven't done that, and then it should get you to where you need to be.
Right. Well, I was having a little bit of an issue with my email, so um so I typed in the link, and
Okay.
so when I got to StreamYard on my thing, it said, first it was like, "Oops, there's nothing there." Maybe I'm just slow. It looks like it's coming up now.
Tell us about it. All right, well,
Mhm.
look, while you're doing that, let me go ahead and do what we do. We usually do. I'm like I said, I'm here with my brother Jaquari and Damon Armstrong,
Hey
and
guys.
Hello.
we welcome you,
Hey,
Danielle Moore. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Hey,
Thank you.
look,
welcome, welcome.
and it's special for me because this is a pit grad right here. You know what I mean?
Yes,
That's a wonderful
HTP.
thing. You know what I mean? So I tell you what, let's do like we usually do. Damon, how was your day today, brother?
Day was good, man. You know, I'm above ground, so I'm feeling blessed. You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
Basking in my potential.
basking in your that's what's up. Jaquari, how are you, brother? How was your day?
It was pretty much an uneventful, man. I did some work or whatever, man, to sat around and what was it I was watching? Something on Prime or whatever, a new show on Prime. So I
Okay,
binge watched that and nothing special.
Okay.
okay, I got you. What's going on, Angie? How you doing? Hey, Danny,
Huh?
how was your day today?
You know what? I had a very interesting day today.
Okay,
All in all, it was good, but it was just I had a little weird thing happen where I don't even want to get into the details right now, but
I got
I felt like people were trying to take advantage of me a little bit, and so I had to just step in and just kind of set things straight a little bit. But all in all, it was a good day.
you. Okay. So you're saying that you had to throw a little bass in your voice then, huh?
A little bit.
Well, okay. All right.
I
Well, look.
fresh.
Here's what we're going to do. What we usually do, Danny, is once you tell us about your day, we want you to let our audience know, exactly about who you are, where you hail from, and everything that you can think of.
Everything I can think
No,
of.
no, 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 no. Because, look, some of us don't know what. Look, if you like me, I don't want people to know everything about me.
Right. Well, let's see. I am a Philadelphia native, born and raised, uptown girl from West Oak Lane. Hey. Um, I have three beautiful children, although they're all adults now. And a beautiful new daughter in love. My son just got married in October.
Okay.
Congratulations.
Um,
Congratulations.
Congratulations. We're
Thank
happy for
you.
you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We're all very happy. And let's see, I am a nurse now. I'm an RN, and I just became an RN about 4 years ago. I decided to, excuse me, change my career after 20 years of working in civil service for the city of Philadelphia. Um, One of the hardest things I've ever done, but very rewarding. So I'm very proud of that. Um, let's see. Right now, I am a travel nurse because it mixes part of my loves. I love being a nurse, taking care of people, and I love to travel and go different places, try different things. So, there I am.
Okay, okay. Uh, Corey, Damon. So, she gave us a little bit. We're gonna delve into some more, but what y'all think?
Well, I mean, it's well, I thank you for your service. I mean, uh, it takes a lot, for a person to know that, because nursing is I couldn't imagine the commitment and going outside of, yourself that actually takes. I mean, that's an endeavor that, it's got to be very few good days, and I don't, not try to put any kind of judgment on it or anything like that, but it's have you ever experienced a situation where one of your patients was happy?
You know what yes is the short answer. Yes. But what you're saying is true. It's absolutely a labor of love. It's very, very challenging. But every once in a while you do get that experience that's very rewarding, whether it's somebody who's grateful, whether you just kind of know that you touched somebody's life, or sometimes you just get people who are people some people are just happy regardless of their situation. You know what I mean? That's a blessing to be able to see, people like that. And everybody who we encounter is not like sick, sick, sick. You know what I mean? So sometimes you encounter happy people and people, who bless you as you bless them. But the overwhelming majority of the time, unfortunately, that's not the case.
Okay, okay.
Mm.
Damon.
Well, it takes a special kind of person. I understand that, and you know who you are, so people have bad days. It really doesn't affect you because you know who you are, right?
Well,
And what I'm just saying, I don't know because I've never, been in that type of situation. But I
hmm
admire the one thing I admire mostly is that after 20, you said 20 plus years, you switch
hmm
careers. That takes a lot of courage.
Yes, indeed.
That takes a
Thank
lot of
you.
It
courage,
does.
and
Mhm.
as an example, what I'm saying, you might trust somebody that you don't even know. Hey, she did it. I can do it too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and you know what?
So,
That speaks volumes. I remember I was at a sorority meeting. It was a meeting actually for younger women, and there was a lady who spoke there, and she was talking about how she had had these different careers, and she's like, "Well, you know what? I still got to work, so I figured, I would be what I wanted to be. I would try something different." And while I had been thinking about it for quite some time, that woman speaking actually stuck with me because what she said made so much sense. You don't have to stay where you are and do what you've been doing just because you've been doing it. You know, if you still plan on working or plan on doing anything really, then excuse me, you just go for it. You know what I mean? Do something different, change it up. I'm gonna be working anyway. So I was thinking, well, am I gonna stay doing what I'm doing that I don't really love? It's not that rewarding for me, or am I gonna go ahead and make a change and do something different? So
Okay,
that helped. That helped me a lot. It was other things too, but that was helpful to me.
okay. So you mentioned it.
Yeah.
We got to I got to have you give your sorority some love now. Tell them who you are and where you're from.
I am a proud, proud member of the Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, and I was made at the University of Pittsburgh Mu chapter. We
Okay.
actually just celebrated our 101, our 101st charter anniversary at the University of Pittsburgh Mu chapter. So very proud of my chapter.
Okay.
all right,
All
all
right.
right.
Well, let's do this a little bit. Um, you say you say you're from Philly. You know what I mean? And you went to school in Pittsburgh.
Hmm.
Let's just touch on it just a little bit. The contrast between Philadelphia and Pittsburgh. Is it one in your eyes? What do you think about it? You know, just comment on just a little bit.
Oh my God, it's night and day. I mean, I know you know because you was there, but
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, I mean, night and day. Like it's so funny. I don't know as much about how Pittsburgh is now, but I remember when we went to Pittsburgh, we were just like, oh my God, they're so country, they're so slow, and um, it was funny, and just real. It's city, but kind of small towny. You know what I mean? Just very different. I remember thinking, and this is crazy how you think when you're young, right? We would watch the news and be like, "Oh my God, their news is so boring. Like nothing happens around here." Not knowing that we were so used to murder and mayhem here in Philly. You know what I mean on the news, but it was different. But it was a good experience. Met some really good people, made some really good friends.
Yeah, okay. Well, I
I
tell you
remember
what.
coming from Ipsy the first time I went up there. I felt like a bumpkin.
Did you?
But look, let me tell you, and that's the thing
Yeah.
about it is Jaquari grew up in outside of Detroit, Ypsilanti, Michigan. Me and Damon, we was more Detroit kids, right? But
Mhm.
it was split down the middle. Okay,
Okay.
so but we experienced that. See, it was funny, and you, I respect your opinion about it, right?
Mhm.
I ran into that because just to let the folks know, there were people from New York, Philadelphia, DC, Baltimore area, right?
Mhm.
And I always laughed about it because what you said, Danny, oh man, it's so country out here. I'm like, so, really and truly, peace and quiet correlated with being country. You know what I'm saying? Which it was always hilarious to me.
Uh-huh.
Um, Let me put it like this. Uh, Sometimes, especially in our youth, because like I said, you come from Philadelphia, and me and my brothers, we grew up the way we grew up, and our audience is the same thing. Sometimes you need a change, like Pittsburgh, just from the because me and my friends was out in Pittsburgh, we were
Mhm.
out in it,
Right.
was a beautiful yet dangerous place.
Mhm.
You see what I'm saying?
I can believe that.
Now Philadelphia, which I have a lot of friends from Philly, was a beautiful but dangerous place.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I just wanted just to let that know because you said that out of love because you was a youngin' at the time. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like, yo, you call it country, but you know what it is like when you grow up, you grow up. All right. So let's get into getting to know you, Dan.
Mhm.
And I want to let everybody know, and you guys already know about this. We always prepare our guests with the questions that we're going to ask, and it's fluid more than anything. But I think it's kind of timely because this is, like Jaquari always says, this is a you heavy show, meaning this is about you, Danny. The Mo, what's up, baby boy? This is about you. So let's just break it down a little bit. What do you consider? Where do you think you got your source of strength and determination?
Mm. So, funny thing is, when we talked about this before, even though you kind of prepared me and you told me, I I really didn't want to think much about it because I really wanted to go kind of like off the cuff, right? So, strength and determination. I feel like, well, one, of course, my mom who raised me, right? Um, just very strong woman, always determined, always made stuff happen, although she didn't have a lot. Um, of course, like most of us, I had no idea like that we were poor growing up because my mom, like I said, she made it happen. So absolutely, her and my grandparents, who I lived with too, and my children, because I just, I got divorced when my kids were kind of young, and I had to again, like my mom, like most black women, you gotta make it happen. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have to be what's the word I'm looking for? I didn't have the luxury of telling my children like I don't have it or you can't do it. You got to do your best to make it happen for them. And then, more was if more on the more abstract, trials make you strong. You know what I'm saying? They make you determined. When you fail at something, it determines, all right, so am I just going to let that be a failure, or am I going to overcome it and try again and rebuild? So I think just a mere experience of having something that doesn't go your way gives you the opportunity to say, all right, you know what, I'm going to work a little harder and make it, make this experience something that's going to be better for me, or I'm going to work harder to change things around for me. It's just like I said, me changing my career. Am I just going to stay here, or am I going to do something else? So just being in a situation where, all right, things are not good, like, things are not perfect, things are not, life for me ain't no crystal stair. So what are you going to do? Are you going to sit in it, or are you going to change things? Are you going to make it happen the way you want to? So adversity, gives you strength. Um, I try and gather my strength. I say strength from
Yeah, you did
God.
say that.
Oh God! And if people know me, I'm a whole grammar snob. Anyway, but you know, gather my strength from God, being centered, knowing that there's, you know, a being higher than me that loves me and controls everything, and is going to be where I can get my strength. So I don't think it's just one simple thing,
Okay.
but a number of things that encourage you and make you strong. Whether it's friendships, because um I have a nice circle, of close friends, marginal friends, even people who you don't see or talk to very often. But when it comes down to, when it really comes down to it, people who I can count on, or, who are there for me, some for different reasons, but I read, I read something a long time ago, back when we used to send emails all the time. And it was like, get yourself some girlfriends. A lot of women you might hear say, no, I don't mess with a lot of women because women are catty and women are this and women are that. And I've never felt that way. I mean, of course, people can be catty and all of that, but you choose who you decide to spend your time with.
That's real.
And I feel like, as a woman, I'm so blessed to be able to, count and have a number of black women like in my life who I can turn to, because I mean, we are the most resilient people, the, very strong, determined, and some people might say like outspoken or attitude having or whatever. I think our attitudes just look a little different than other people's, but at the end of the day, we are very dynamic people. And so, like I said, I'm very happy to be able to um have people that I can turn to and who I can go to when my strength might be failing, and I need somebody.
Okay. Okay. Damon, you look like you wanted to comment
No,
on
no, I can listen to her all day.
all day.
I mean,
Huh.
it's rare that you hear a sister say that she depend on her other sisters. You know what I'm saying? Because the cattiness and all that stuff. And I think my thing is this. That comes with maturity and age and all that stuff, right? I mean, is that fair to say?
Um, It has grown some over the years, but I mean, I've really honestly always felt that way. Like, my thing is this, right? If every day when I look into a mirror and I see myself, a beautiful black woman, how can I say that I don't like black women
That's
because they
real.
are X, Y, or Z? How is that going to look for me when I'm looking at myself every day and I'm a black woman? How words matter. You know what I mean?
Right.
So how am I going to say, "Oh no, I don't mess with black women. I don't like black women"? That's ridiculous.
Hmm.
I'm a black woman, so you know.
Okay. Jaquari.
And I was just thinking, man, it struck me funny. Again, you said, growing up, we didn't actually realize that you realized that you were born.
Yo, is your joint plugged in, man? You kind of grainy.
Okay, yeah.
What happened?
Try it again, Jaquari.
You talking? You talking? No, I just said it struck me funny. That Danielle, you mentioned that growing up, you didn't realize that you were poor, like that. And I didn't want to say like obviously we was poor too, and the people around me, made sure that I realized that I realized. But being a nurse and
Hey man,
and the
you
service,
not
and the
you.
service,
Jaquari.
y'all can't, y'all can't, y'all
No,
can't
no,
hear
you.
me, y'all can't hear me.
Now you have some kind of
Not good.
reverb or something like that, man. It's real grainy. Can't really hear you. Are you plugged in all the way?
Oh man, yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Move on, man. Move on, man. Hold on.
Hey, Danny, you made a mistake. You on
No,
here.
I'm
Oh,
getting
this
off
is
my phone. Hold on.
Oh, okay. How's it? Can you hear me?
you feel better? Is
Can
that
you
what
hear
it
me okay
was?
now?
We can
I
hear
can
you.
hear you
Yes.
clear.
Oh my God.
Hey, Jaquari, say something, Jaquari.
Can y'all still?
Yeah,
You
Can you
good
guys
now?
still?
that's what it was. Danny was
Okay,
trying to come
good.
in.
Yeah.
You good, brother. Let's hear
Oh,
it, man. So this is why I like this show. It's very organic. We want to be professional, but you know how it is.
Hell, I felt like I was in a sci-fi movie or something, man.
He is an alien invader. Go ahead, Jaquari.
Man.
no, I
So
just
wait a
wanted to
minute.
ask you,
Is I
like,
don't
did you just say is on?
She said, "Am I?" She said,
Yeah,
"Am
no,
I?"
no, you good. We can see you, Danny. We can hear you too.
can- I couldn't hear you.
Like you coming in and out though. How about now? That's why I love this shit.
Coming in and I don't know. Connection is like,
You fading in and out though, Danny.
hmm.
You might have to you might have to hold your phone up.
I'm gonna get off it.
All right. Hey, let me just say this in the meantime. Um, Me personally, you know, I you good
Oh,
now?
you crystal clear now.
Now, look, I gotta. She got that look on her face like I gotta work a little bit. I gotta hold the phone up.
All right. Do I look sideways or did my phone adjust?
It's sideways now.
All right, I'll just stay like this. Okay. All
Okay,
right, I'm
but
good.
Jaquari, go ahead and because it sounded interesting what you were saying. What was you saying again?
No, I was just gonna ask you, like what do you do to decompress from a rough day?
Good question.
Um, that is a good question. I think I have a couple different things that I like to do. One, I like to I love music, right? So I might put some music on. Um, I like to kind of yell slash sing, so I might at any given time you could catch me singing or dancing, just enjoying some music. Sometimes I might want to work out, depending on how I'm feeling. And sometimes I just want to get in a shower or take a bath and go to sleep. So,
Okay. Oh, well, let me ask you this question then. You you mentioned that you are a divorcee, and I don't want you to get too personal with it, but when you found yourself completing the divorce situation, right?
uh-huh.
Did you feel as though did you feel as though you was by yourself, or was it? Did you join the man haters club, or was it more or less?
And so you should have led with that, bro.
No, 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 no. Because you know why? Because I don't want it. I don't want it to sound like I'm against or for anything. My point is, people receive their situation differently from others. You know what I mean? I've known you for a long time, and I know you from afar, Danny. But I've always saw strength in you. So
Well,
I
thank
was
you.
curious. I was just curious about how you saw that situation, just a little bit. How you saw that situation when it transpired.
So, no, the short answer is no, right? Earlier, I talked about my love for Black women and how we look out for each other. I also love Black men. I do, like, just hands down. I love y'all. Um, as friends, as family, as companions. I love Black men, hands down. Um, I just felt like we weren't right for each other. You know what I mean? I feel like there were things that I allowed that I shouldn't have allowed. And I felt like for me, yeah, it was probably wrong for him to do certain things, but it was wrong for me to allow certain things. Right. And so at the end of the day, we all have to take ownership of ourselves. You know what I'm saying? You can't control what somebody else does. You can only control the way you react to it. So, you know, I blamed myself as much, what I mean, as I blamed him. So, we just weren't good for each other. So, we had to move on. But no, do I hate Black men? Did I hate? I don't even hate. I don't hate him, and I don't hate Black men. Absolutely not.
Okay. Okay.
But isn't it
I know
isn't
it's
it
some good men out there. Listen, I am single,
Look,
and I know it's some good men out there. So
throw it on out
I'm
there. Let
still
them know.
I'm
Let them
still
know.
hopeful. I'm still hopeful that I'll find my Black king when
let
he's
me
No,
let
no,
single.
me let me look in the comment section.
no, no.
Anybody
Philadelphia,
hollering at you?
Philadelphia man, let's go, baby. Pay attention.
Pay
But
attention to the comment section. You might find them.
all right,
Wait. Let me get my glasses. Hold on.
I'm gonna put it on the screen for you. Hey, what was you getting ready to say, Damon?
Here's the thing, man. It's real easy to find the wrong in people, but sometimes situations are just learning experiences. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
It's just learning experiences. So it all depends on how you internalize it.
Mhm.
Because uh, if you constantly finding fault in yourself, that's self deprecating, and
Oh my God, yes.
and that's not healthy for anybody.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
So why not come to a conclusion where you know what, it didn't work out, and I learned something from it. I don't hold any animosity, and just
Yeah,
move
absolutely.
and just move on. You know.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's what you got to do. And I mean, but you definitely said, oh, what is that? Do y'all hear the echo?
No, that I had to correct it. You good now?
Oh, okay. Um, Excuse me. You see it like, it's self-deprecating to blame yourself and all that. Let me tell you, I am such a forgiving person. I forgive people so easily. And I have the hardest time forgiving myself. So, that's definitely something.
that I have to work on, and I've been working on, but continue to work on, because we none of us are perfect, and I understand that so well about other people, but then I hold myself, I'm so hard on myself sometimes, so that's something I work on.
Yeah. Well, but see, here's the thing that where I think you and I have in common is the simple fact of this: giving to people. I do it. I'm gonna tell you how I get it. I was taught it because my mother and father put the responsibility of my brothers and me responsible for me and my brothers. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? They're my best friends. I love them to death. So I took that job seriously. And when it came to my mother and father, it was like, look, I wanted them to be proud of me. So when you said earlier that it was some self-deprecation, right? But to be honest with you, what it is you are checking in and making sure that you're still you.
Hmm. Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because
Uh-huh.
I do it, and my brothers know, and my friends know it, and everybody know. I will do it. I will take responsibility for stuff. But really and truly, what you're doing is you're not taking responsibility. You're doing is, hey, what did I really and truly intend on taking it this far, accepting it this far? Because
Hmm.
you are checking on your character. You're checking on who you are. That's it. That's my little 2 cent about it. You feel what I'm saying? Um,
Yeah, I'm gonna put them 2 cents in my pocket. I like
no
it.
doubt, no doubt. Jaquari, you had something to say before you disappeared on us, brother. What you still good, or should we move on?
Yeah, we can move on, man.
Okay,
I think it's
okay.
going pretty good.
Good.
Everything is flowing.
Um,
Please excuse my hiccups.
is that what's going on, man?
You see, got the
Every
headphones on.
time your earphones is changing position, every time you must be hiccuping.
Ooh.
I
Oh
mean,
yeah, I forgot you told me to use headphones. I hope it's not a
no,
problem. Am
no,
I
no,
okay?
you good. No, we hear you. You cool.
Okay.
You cool. Okay, here's one. This is one that's interesting. You know about. Do you feel you were able to achieve what you wanted out of life and your career
Um.
and love?
Yes.
I'm gonna throw love in there too. Throw that little wrinkle. But go
All
ahead.
right. So let me answer the love question first.
Okay.
No, but I'm still hopeful. I mean, have I had some good relationships? Sure, but obviously none of them have lasted because I just said a little while ago that I'm single. Um, so yes and no. I'm not where I want to be, obviously, but I'm hopeful. I haven't given up on love. Um, in terms of relationships with like family and friends, um, I think I'm pretty good in that area. I show love all the time. It's funny because my best friend, she's so funny. I'll be like, I love you. And for the longest time, she would be like, I'm so uncomfortable. Like, saying that and stuff, like, it's weird to me. And now it's so funny. We kind of make a joke out of it because she'll be like, I love you. And I'll be like, I know, I love you too. So, but like, that's me. So, in terms of those kind of, relationships, yeah. In terms of a partner, not quite.
Gotcha.
Um, in terms of my career, again, yes and no. You know what I mean? Like, there's certain things I've achieved in my career that I'm proud of, and I feel like I've done well. And then there's, a lot that I feel like I still have yet to accomplish. So, I'm still here. So it's still time.
Okay. Okay. I get that. I get it. Okay, Jaquari,
Hmm.
you look like you have something mulling in your head with that, brother.
I was just listening, man. Just hoping that my technical difficulties are over. I mean, just
Okay.
like I said, like you said before, man. This is a Daniel heavy show. I'm don't want to take up too much time talking and everything, man. So,
Okay. Damon,
What's
what's
the
going on,
Danielle
brother?
show? I kind of like the sound of that.
Hey,
Maybe
look,
I should be a
look, you
podcast.
better get used to it now that look, hey, especially today.
Yeah.
Damon.
I don't know if this is the right phrase to use, devil's advocate, but I hear you speaking about your friends and speaking on love, right? And then
Uh-huh.
then you start speaking about relationships and wanting to be in one. Where do you see a good relationship with a black man starts from? Do it start from expectation, or do it start from friendship and getting to know each other?
It's a good question, brother.
Um, that is a good question, and I mean, obviously I think it feels like I think it has to start with getting to know a person and developing a friendship because you want your lover to be your friend, and I think way too often if we move too quickly, I always say if you go in fast, you get out fast, right?
Mm.
So yeah, I think definitely you want to take the time to, get to know a person, build on things, and the better you know a person, I think the better you are able to react to that person, because you kind of know if you know a person, that's the big and small of it. If you know them, it makes you better prepared to react to them. Like if that person is going through something, or if maybe something's going on with them that they're not communicating or something, I think that knowing that person well allows you to better deal with it. And then the communication is important too. And you can start off communicating with a stranger, right? You always want to do your best to communicate. That's essential in a relationship. But the
Right.
more you know a person, the better you know a person. If you keep your communication open, then I think that makes for a better relationship because I can communicate myself to you well if you know me, and you're going to understand like nuances of my character that are going to help with that communication as well.
Okay.
So I don't know if I'm really articulating that the right way, but I think yes, you definitely want to be able to meet somebody and grow in knowing and learning that person before establishing a, a more permanent relationship, because everything's relationship, right?
Okay. Hey, so you good with that answer, Danny?
Am I good with that answer?
Yeah, if you good with that answer, then you articulated exactly the way it needed to be articulated. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
I
well
mean,
I want to press her a little bit. I want to press her a little bit.
go ahead. What you got?
What I got is that you spoke of your friend who was uncomfortable with reciprocating the word love back to you, but
Mm-hmm.
you was patient with that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Why were you patient? You were patient because you viewed her as somebody. You viewed that relationship important to you, so you found patience in it.
Well, so what I'm hearing is patience in somebody articulating back to you that they love you. So my answer to that part is if you love somebody, um, does is your love necessarily dependent upon them loving you back, right? So in my
Okay.
opinion, not necessarily, right?
Right. Right.
So if I mean I know what my relationship is with her, and I know she loves me whether she says it or not, right? So I'm like, I love you. But and it wouldn't really matter to me if she didn't say it back. I know who she is. You know what I mean? That's the part of
Right.
growing and knowing somebody, right?
Right.
Um, and in a relationship with a man, it's funny. I was in this situation before. When I told somebody, I was like, I'm falling in love with you. This was a long time ago, and I think he was kind of taken aback by it, and I was like, it's okay. Like, like I'm not telling you that I love you so you could tell me that you love me. You gonna feel how you feel when you feel. Like whenever you feel it, you gonna feel it or you not. It's not gonna change the way I feel. It might change our dynamic, it might change our relationship together, but I'm just articulating to you how I feel. Do you have to say it back?
No. I mean, eventually, he did, but that wasn't it wasn't my love is not predicated by yours. I mean, our relationship dictates how we feel, right? So if I'm telling you and you ain't ready to articulate it back, that's fine. If you ain't feeling like that, that's fine too. Now, a couple things gonna happen. Either you will or you won't, and we'll move on, or we won't.
No doubt.
You know,
No doubt.
So it
Jaquan.
doesn't diminish you to express love then.
no.
No, that's what she pretty much said. Jaquan, what do you think about that?
That's definitely heavy. I mean, it's you really can't dictate, how people feel. So trying to push them, and paint them into a corner and make them say it, it's really not, you know, going to be healthy for the relationship at all. You know, but I wanted to ask you though, the difference between dating today and say like when you were at Pitt. How much? I mean, like when you choose to become involved with a man, do you see a difference in the maturity level? Because for the life of me, when I talk to people about, especially women about dating or whatever, it doesn't seem to be any evolution in the men. Like I'm 50 years old, right?
Oh, man, wait. No, go ahead, man. I'm just fucking with you. Go ahead.
Okay. It doesn't seem to be any difference in the men, as far as behavior. Like my 50-year-old single friends, male friends, who are dating, they still have the same pursuits as they did when they were 18 years old.
Hmm.
Do women go through that same thing, or is there an evolution, or can you elaborate on that, or do you understand the question?
Are you asking me, have women it evolved? Is it different for me, or is my experience with men and their evolution any different?
Yeah, the
What?
second question.
Um, the short answer, no, I don't see much difference. It's like, how old are you, bro? And you still doing the same stupid stuff? Um, but you know, I think people do what you allow them to do. You have to set,
Good point.
your own boundaries and determine what it is you're willing to deal with and what it is you're not willing to deal with. And I think that's where the difference comes in. It has to be, I guess it's the theme of the night kind of, but what are you willing to do? What are you willing to accept? So you got to hold people to a different standard. Like, listen, I'm grown. You got to come a certain way or not. And that's okay. We got to be who we are.
Okay. I uh, I want to comment on this because it kind of it's kind of just the expression love thing kind of touches all of it. I'm glad you back, Damon, because look, Jaquari and Damon will tell you that Damon was the main one saying that he loved us,
Hmm.
right? And we are the three of us love each other, right?
Hmm.
But to say it wasn't because it was hard to say. It was just wasn't in our vocabulary at the time to actually look
Hmm.
at each other because we did it out of expression. We did
Right.
it out of that's that's my best friend and that's my brother. I love him to death. I love my
Hmm.
mother. I love my father. I was 25 years old when I told my father that I loved him,
Uh-huh.
even though I showed him every day, right?
Right.
I showed my mom every day. The three of us, we mama's boys.
Hmm.
That's That's how strong
Right.
my mother was. It made us all feel special as hell, right?
Right.
But when it came down to the women in my life, my wife, Kia, we divided, which is crazy. We divided because it's the funny thing is this is my experience. It was harder to tell my family I loved them
Mhm.
than somebody that I was trying to be in a relationship that I loved them because it felt
Mhm.
like it was a prerequisite.
Mhm.
Yo, yo, we here for 5 years. You know what? I love you. You know what I'm saying? You know, and
Uh,
it's just a funny dynamic because you gotta think about it. And the four of us, I know we feel it in our audience too. It's deep when you tell somebody. It's supposed to be deep, I should say. When you tell
mhm.
somebody outside your family that you love them, because what you're doing is, because you said it, you're special, Danny. Because most women that I've come across,
Mhm.
and that's a small window now.
It better be. I know that's right.
Kid, it's a small window.
Hey, Kia.
But look, when they say they love me, they expected me to say it back.
Mhm. Yeah,
You know
but
what
you
I'm
know what? You listen, like you just said. You said you showed love, right?
saying?
And actions speak louder than words. So I would prefer a man never told me he loved me if he showed me he loved me, right? And that's the part right there that really matters. Like, man, I'm a person who I say I love you. I'm a hugger, and I say I love you. But at the end of the day, the actions are what matters, right? What's that? I can't read that comment that's on the screen. What's that saying?
It's
The
my
real, yeah,
my cousin Malika. Go ahead, Jacory.
it says the real question is why. What can we do differently when engaging men? LOL. There's no way you should still be the same. LOL.
And she was commenting on how you and Jacory were talking about the maturity level.
Right,
You know, but
right.
see,
Love,
that,
love is. I think for the most part, human beings have the concept of love so far misconstrued, man. It's love is definitely beautiful, but it's ugly, man. At the same time, love means you have to extend yourself past any all of your comfort boundaries. Love
that's
means
real.
that you have to you know sometimes tell the people that you love some of the most hardest shit that you know they need to hear.
That's true.
You know,
That's true. And
I
that's
think
hard to do.
yeah, I think we oftentimes, especially when it's outside of the family, we often confuse love with strong convenience. You know,
Mm,
but it's love is not it's not fun. It's not fun at all. It's not storybook.
damn,
You know,
Jacory, I had to that shit sunk in on me, man. You hit me in the head with that. Surprisingly, I like that. I like that.
Hey,
I
hey, y'all. I'm sorry. I gotta run to the bathroom. I've been trying to hold off. I'll be right back. I need like a minute and 20 seconds. All right, I'll be right back.
All
A
right.
minute and 20 seconds. Lord have mercy. That's fast.
But look, um, Jaquari and Damon, um, this is something to think about, and we're gonna ask Danny when she comes back, and you guys can think about it in the meantime. What was the hardest thing for you to do when it came to somebody that you love? And I'm
And
just
I'm
talking
just
about
talking about
outside the
outside the
relationship.
relationship.
Repeat that,
Repeat that,
please.
please.
There's an
There's an
echo,
echo,
man.
man.
That's me, man.
Are you
Are you
unplugged?
unplugged?
Oh, you good now?
Yeah.
Okay. What's the hardest thing that you felt you had to do? I'm gonna change it up a little bit. What's the hardest thing you felt you had to do when it came to somebody that you was trying to work on a relationship with? Just to make it a little interesting. You know what I mean? Because this is kind of evolved into, you know, how men think and how women think. You know what I mean?
I,
And me personally, I don't divide it between men and women. I divide it into person to person. You feel me?
yeah, I think the hardest thing I had to do, man, especially when
Hold,
I
hold
got.
on, hold on. Let. We're gonna ask Dani when she's ready. We're gonna ask her the question, then you
I'm
can answer.
back.
Okay.
And just real quick, let me clarify. A minute to go to the bathroom. Y'all know I'm a nurse. 20 seconds to wash your hands. I take that 20 seconds. Okay.
Record time. Record
That's
time.
what's up. Um, the question was, what was the hardest thing? And we're gonna let Jaquari lead with this, Dani. What was the hardest thing you had to do when it came to trying to create a relationship with somebody? Is that correct, guys?
Mhm.
Okay. Jaquari is on you.
I think the hardest thing for me to do, man, was suppress my selfishness, man. Seriously, because I uh, I came into the relationship with my wife, and she had a daughter, and at the time that situation didn't seem particularly ideal to me, but I went with the mindset that you know you can't take the mama without the baby, right?
That's
But
real.
then and it happened fairly quickly. I grew to love my daughter as my own child. So it, within me stepping outside of my own selfishness, the love that I had for both of them, you know, it strengthened me, and I didn't feel so bad about it not just being me anymore, or it not just being me and just my woman anymore. You know what I mean? So I mean, just doing things for other people, man. For no reason, for doing good deeds with no motive. You know, I'm not saying that I'd never done it before, but I obviously married this woman, so that became consistent for me.
Okay. Okay. Damon,
Here's the thing, man. And I'm speaking as a soon-to-be 57-year-old man.
soon to be.
Here's the thing, man. When you fall in love with the person, you choose to spend your life with them. I'm saying that's all predicated on expectation. I'm saying you go into it, oh, this person gonna give me what I need or whatever, and I'm gonna be happy because that person serves my purpose, right? That's how most people do it, if we're being honest with ourselves. But the truth is, when you get into a relationship with somebody that you deem to be a relationship long term, you're bringing your best self. You know what I'm saying? You're bringing your best self, and you hope that that person recognize your best self. You hope they recognize it. When things get misconstrued is when you feel like you're losing in a situation. That's when shit get misconstrued. And you like, well, damn, I did this and I was expecting that. You know what I'm saying? But you know one thing that don't change, man? The only thing that we have control over is ourselves, man. Bringing our best self. A person, the one thing that we have to accept, man, whether or not a person accept our best self, that doesn't diminish us. They might not be where you at. So you can't take that shit personal. It's like, okay, they ain't there. And that's okay. You know what I'm saying? And you can recognize the fact that they ain't there. You can recognize it in everything. But when you just dealing with who you are and your best self, and you want to make that person happy out of love, that's what it is. They don't recognize it, but hey, that doesn't diminish you. They're
And
just not where you. They're just not where you at.
I totally
And
agree
then
with you.
and then it's easier to move on from that point of view than getting off into the nuances of, well, you ain't do this and you ain't do that, or you made me feel this way and you made me feel this way. Can't nobody make you feel any type of way, man, if you true to yourself.
Yeah.
I'm in total agreement with you as far as you bringing your best self, but realistically, man, you also have to bring your worst self. You got to,
So your partner can see it.
yeah. I
You know what I
mean,
mean?
you bring you
As
you
long,
you
as long as it's not
you bring
destructive.
it. You bring well, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, but for the most part, our worst selves are destructive.
All right. Look. I've been waiting for
It
this.
can be.
Hey, Danny, you've
Uh-huh.
been doing a great job. Hit us in the head. We listening.
um, Wait, what was the question again? The hardest part of forming relationships or something like
Yeah,
that?
yeah. What's the hardest thing you had to do as far as the relationship is concerned?
Um, Let me say that is interesting. I think probably for me, it's funny, Damon. You talk about bringing your best self, right? And so many times, we all know people send like the representatives and stuff like that. So maybe people feel like part of that is their best selves too. But I'm not gonna go into all of that because I don't want to get too many thoughts going around in my head. So I think for me, it's a matter of, and I think it kind of connects back to like bringing your best self. I sometimes I think I can be too impatient, and sometimes I think I can be too accepting. So I think the hardest part for me is the discernment in terms of recognizing a person's intentions along with their actions, right? Because sometimes what you intend, my line sister Tina, um, Keith, my Tina,
Much
um,
love.
exactly. She always said what your intention is might not be your hey, what is it? What you intended is not always how it lands. That's not the way she puts it, but basically what I intend to deliver to you or what you intend to deliver to me is not necessarily what I'm going to receive or not necessarily what you're going to receive. So I might mean it in a good way, but the way you take it might not be good, right? Let's use a text message for example. I sent a text message saying, "Hey, babe, where you at?" But because of what you thinking, I'm saying like, "Hey, honey, where you at? What you doing?" But because of whatever's going on with you, you might take it like, "Hey, where you at?" You know what I'm saying? Like you, that's a simple. Maybe it's a good example, maybe it's not. But
No, that's
it
a
just
good example. That's a good
how
example.
you give it might not be how it's received, right? So I think sometimes um we have to be able to say, well, did this person intend to do X, Y, or Z, or is their character just such that they don't care? Um, are they intending to do something that I find disrespectful, or like something very simple? I don't really like for people to call me D.
I
Um,
know. I know.
And I was just about to call you D too,
Hey,
man.
hey, hey,
right.
hey,
I'm glad you
Damon.
told me.
Damon, I made the mistake and did that through a text, and I was corrected. But go ahead. Go ahead,
And
Danny.
and and here's the thing, right? A lot of
But
times
you know,
people but people take it wrong when you say I don't like to be called D. But meanwhile, they'll just take it upon themselves to call you that. No shade, Keith. But I'm saying, and it's the easiest thing in the world to do because we all do it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I got a friend named Vera who I call V, and my girlfriend Adrian I call A. That's just what I mean. It's what we do. But because of personal reasons, I don't like it.
Yeah.
But then when I say to people like, I don't like to be called D, they like this heifer or this bougie, whatever. Like, but it's my name, and I can
Yeah.
decide. You know what I'm saying? What I want to be called, and I don't even remember why I'm talking about that. But we were talking about being offensive, right? So I remember I had met somebody.
like online sometime a while ago, and he said, I see it, my name is, I had a name on there, probably Dani, and I'm like, yeah, my actual name is Danielle, but most people call me Dani, which is fine. And then he was like, oh, okay, D such and such, and I'm like, yeah, don't call me that. And he's like, oh, I meant no disrespect, and I'm sure he didn't, right? And I ain't mean no disrespect by correcting you. So don't take it like that. You know what I mean? Let's just be able to, communicate how we feel. But again, that's something that can be taken wrong where you be like, no, she didn't tell me that. But why would you be offended that I tell you don't call me something that I don't want you to call me? Like,
That's
you
real.
know what I mean? It's weird. All right, so I'm getting on a tangent. But what I think the bottom line to my answer is I have had a hard time sometimes um discerning whether a person's intentions match, what I received. That people will be like, you quick to cut somebody off, and I don't think that. I think there have been lots of times when I've given people too many chances. Like, because I think, no, but I don't think the intention was bad. I think maybe it was just, a mistake, a miscommunication or something. And then later I find out that no, it wasn't no miscommunication. That's just who they are,
Yeah.
and that don't work for me. And then there have been times when I was been like, "What? I can't believe they did that. They gotta go." And then maybe realizing that that wasn't, the intended, response, or you know what I mean. That wasn't what they intended. So, I think to be clear, for me, it's a matter of trying to be patient enough but not too patient to where you let people take advantage of you, because offline we had this whole give or taker conversation about how when you're too nice, people want to take advantage of you, and I'm kind-hearted, I'm nice. It's so funny because I remember my ex-husband said to me, he was like, you're not that nice. And I was like, "Good I am." But I mean, everybody. I don't want to give the impression that like I'm a pushover. I'm nice like that. But I'm kind. I'm giving. I'm kind-hearted. So I don't want to be in a position where I'm taken advantage of. But I don't want to be in a position either where I'm being too hard on a person when that's not necessarily the case. You know. And then and on the other side of that, I feel like vulnerability is hard when it comes to relationships. Being able to be in a space where you can be vulnerable with somebody, I mean, that's something you really got to build up to. You know what I mean? But until you reach that place where you can be vulnerable, especially as a Black woman, you know, it looks like you're being too hard, or you too hard. And I've been single for a long time. I'm independent. I take care of myself, and I answer to myself, you know what I mean, and what I'm doing. So when you get into a relationship, it's not necessarily like answering to another person, but you kind of got to be accountable to another person when you're in a relationship with them, right? When you're in a committed relationship with somebody, it's not just about you. I'm sure you guys, Damon, are you married too?
Yes.
So I'm sure y'all understand, it's not necessarily that you have to answer to your wife per se, or I mean, I don't know how y'all say it, but you do have to be accountable to your wife. And y'all know that, you can't just be like what Robin Harris used to say when his wife say, where you going? He'd be like, B, I'm going to the moon. I'll be back when I get back. You can't just say
Yeah,
that
but
to your
that's
wife. You
that's
can't just go and do
Hell
what you
no.
want,
that's
you
something
know,
different though. That's something different though. You know what I'm saying?
different
That's
than what.
that's a continuous relationship. When you
That,
when
that's true, man. That's true.
That's a continuous relationship. I'm
Hmm.
speaking in terms of, look here, if you trying to get in a relationship with somebody
Hmm.
and you want it to be a real true relationship, the only thing that you can hang your hat on is being yourself. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? They either gonna accept you or they not. And it's
Oh yeah.
okay. If it's okay if they don't accept you, it's okay. That doesn't make you
Oh,
a bad person.
absolutely.
It
Oh,
doesn't make you a
listen, I
bad
don't ever
person.
send no representative. I tell people that all the time. People be like, everybody send their representative. I be like, no, I don't, because I'm funny. I'm funny. I'm silly.
You know what I mean? I like to have a good time. I like to dance and laugh. And sometimes I'm cranky. Like if I'm tired, I might be cranky. I might be silly. You never know. But at the end of the day, I you got to be yourself. I'm in total
Right.
agreement with you there. You can't be nobody else because it's too hard to be faking, and you can't do it for but so long anyway. So why even bother with all that?
Okay.
Hey,
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 let,
quick, a quick story. Quick story. I saw a friend of mine one day, man. I haven't seen in years. So I'm at the gas station, and I'm kicking. I'm like, I got love in my heart for this brother, right? And I was glad to see him. He blew me off, said some things and all that, right? And I was like, when I went away, we exchanged words and all that stuff, f bombs and all that. And when I walked away, I was like, how this, how you coming at me like this and whatever, right? And then I started being honest with myself, and there were situations where me and him got into it, and he might have felt disrespected. You know what I'm saying, I gotta own that. I gotta own that. Even though I needed him to be in my life or love him and be in my life, I had to earn the responsibility that there were some times we got into it and Cass was on the sideline laughing and egging the shit on. He didn't never forget it.
no
You know what
doubt.
I'm saying? But being the man that I am and being responsible for who I am and the things that I've done, I had to be honest and be like, I can see why you mad.
Yeah. Well, look, let me ask y'all now. I'm gonna ask all three of you this, man, because along these lines of what we're talking about. Here's my question, and just like I said, along the lines of the conversation we're talking about, and I want all three of you guys to address this. The way that you see that kind of interaction with somebody that you're having a relationship with, and also just through friendship, the way that you see yourself, is that the main determinant in how you deal with those people? Here's the example. Me, I'm a humble human being, right? But I learned to love the shit out of me. And I'm not talking about taking from other people, taking what's mine. I'm talking about I look myself in the mirror every single day and I say to myself, you are the shit. And what I mean by that is you're doing the fucking best you can. Period. Fuck what anybody else's opinion, even though I care about other people's opinion, but it is overridden when I run into petty selfishness. So the question is, have you guys reached that point in your life where no matter what, when you love yourself, the other shit don't matter? You guys understand my question? I can clarify a little better, but if you don't understand, we'll
Well,
start
you
with,
know what?
yeah, go ahead, Dan.
Yeah, yeah. I need you to restate the question.
Okay. Hold on. Jaquari, do you understand what I mean?
Yeah, understood for sure.
Let Jaquari answer Danny, then I think he'll give you some clarity.
Okay.
It all like culminates in the statement that I made about love. Love is beautiful and love is ugly. And just because I happen to be looking in the mirror and going through my whole love dialogue about myself doesn't mean that changes for me. You know, uh, throughout my life, I've always personally celebrated the good, but over the last 10 years or so, I've learned that you got to face the bad. I understand who I am through my flaws, you know, and that to me that's a blessing. You know, I love myself, but I understand who I am. You know, so even though I might have a negative feelings about a situation or a person or whatever, rarely do I act on it the way that you know I think I should act on it in my mind's eye. I always take a step back, and I might give the situation 50% because if I gave it 100%, then I'd be alone. You know, so I mean, it's a constant temperature check on do I really have to go that hard on this person, even though this person may have stepped on my toes in some situation. Is my being pissed off over that situation heavy enough for me to cut this person off? You know, and that's how I express my love. I express my love through looking at fucked up situations through uh I like to what I like to think is a discerning eye. You know, I mean, I really don't. I really hate to be, one of those people who preach a certain thing, but then, when it's time for my feet to be held to the fire, I come up short. You know, and that's
I'm
not
different.
that's not an easy way to live. It's not an easy way to live, and I fall short. I fall short of the glory quite often, but the growth is in the work. That's it.
Okay. Damon,
Here's the thing, man. I can only speak to where I'm at, man. It's
that's
eight
what we,
bit.
that's what we want to know. Come
It's
on.
8 billion of us on this planet, man. We all have similar experiences, but we go through shit differently, man. And that's God. So if you want to try to understand what is it about you that turn them off, excuse my language, that turn the person off, then there's something, you know what I'm saying, that's turning the person off. Nobody's coming at you, in the mindset that, you know what, I'm going to have a relationship with this person, man, so I can show people just how jacked up he is. You know what I'm saying? No, it's experiences, man. It just is what it is. And in that experience, man, the only thing that you can bank on, you know what I'm saying, in a righteous and a realistic way, man, is you looking at yourself. And you understanding what it is that you tolerate, you don't tolerate. If you realize you can't tolerate certain situations, are you being selfish? I mean, there's a lot of questions there. You know what I'm saying? But it's all predicated on you and your experience. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, man, if you in a relationship and it doesn't work out, that's just happenstance. That's just what it is. But if you're in a relationship and it don't work out and there's animosity there, that's just two people standing their ground, man, and not giving. You know what I'm saying? They're not giving. And it's like, hey, look, you made me feel this way. Well, hell, you made that person feel that way too. So it's going to be animosity and it's going to be that contention there. You know what I'm saying? But in terms of moving forward as a human being and who you trying to be in your life, nobody dictates who you are. Nobody does that. You dictate who you are and who you trying to be. Everybody might have their opinion about what they think who you are. And what 90% of the time they're dead wrong. You know what I'm saying? And what do? You're creating enemies. You create situations.
They don't know you. They can't. They can't.
Right, because everybody's standing their ground. But if you honest with yourself, you can take a step back and say, man, I'm not finna get off into this with you. I ain't got no animosity towards you. I'm just gonna keep it moving. You keep it moving, and we're gonna respect that. That's the easiest thing to do in the world. You know what I'm saying? With the understanding that when you coming from your point of view, and you feel how you feel, you ain't trying to heal no damn body if you feel offended or disrespected. You ain't trying to heal nobody, even if you're wrong. You're not. But if you in the position where you say, like I said, like I spoke on earlier, last point, like I spoke on earlier, I saw that brother, and he was like standoffish. And I came to the conclusion that, yeah, he may have reason to be. And hopefully down the line, me and him can get back cool again. But I understand why he ain't really had no rhythm for a brother, no words. I get that, and I can move forward without animosity or feelings or drama. You know what I'm saying? Because I take on my own responsibility, and I'm being honest with myself.
No doubt. All right, Danny. You
Um,
had hold on. Let me. I'm gonna give you a little bit longer because you had that look in your face, like, yo, what the fuck is you talking about, Keith?
Damon on some bullshit right
No,
now.
no. But
What the hell are he talking about?
do you need more clarity on my question, or
no,
you
no, no, no,
good?
no, no, no. So
Okay.
I kind of remember you were saying,
You said you
I
kind
think
of remember.
how
Stop playing, bro.
does how you feel about yourself
Yeah.
determine how you are in relationships, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely. You guys hit on a whole lot when you were talking. So um usually when you feel good about yourself, everything is just kind of better, right? You leave the hair salon, you leave the barbershop, you kind of looking fresh to death. Life is good, I feel good, I'm looking good, and things, are going better. When you feel good about yourself, I think you set yourself up for um better relationships, better responses, better interactions with people because one, you want to keep feeling good, right? And you know your worth, right? Because you like shit. What you say, Keith? You look in the mirror, you be like, you the shit, girl. You ain't gotta deal with no crap. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. I mean, you don't want to be over the top to where ain't nobody or nothing good enough. But you want to feel good. You want to have good interactions. Um, if you're not feeling so good about yourself, it might put you in a place where um somebody, particularly somebody who don't mean you no good, will peep that you're not feeling so good about yourself and take advantage of the fact that you're not feeling so good about yourself. And then that leads to, you know what I mean, a poor relationship as well. And then I'm not sure, maybe both of you guys kind of hit on this, but you know, how you feel about yourself, you got to kind of check in with yourself in terms of, are you being fair to that person? Are you being judgmental, or did you create an issue? You know what I mean? Were you able to hear that person because of how you were feeling? So, excuse me. So yeah, all of that definitely plays a part in how you interact with, your relationships. I try to compartmentalize things. Like, if I'm not feeling so good over here, let me not take that, into, something else to try to damage it there. But sometimes, you can't quite help it, because if something has an effect on you, it has an effect on you. For an example, like, say I'm home and I'm in a relationship and I have a argument with my husband, and I'm mad at home and all that, but I know I'm about to go out and have dinner with friends. Am I going to allow my bad feeling that I went through at home to make me have a bad time at dinner? You know what I mean? So no, in that regard, I try to compartmentalize, but that's not always the case. You might have a bad day at work, and when you come home, you snap at the kids or you snap at your spouse because you already kind of upset and on 10. And that's when you got to kind of check yourself and recognize that, listen, this don't have nothing to do with y'all. And there's been times in my life where I've had that experience, and I'd be like, listen, I'm in a really bad mood. So, I really kind of want to just, be by myself, and I don't want to interact because I don't want to take my bad mood out on you. And the person who understands you will appreciate that, but a person who doesn't understand you, you're going to end up in conflict with, because they're not going to be able to appreciate that you just need that time.
Okay. Look, great, great damn answer for all three of y'all. But look, here's my thing. This is my own personal view of this, and like I said, usually I told you the other night, Danny, I usually try to get in on at least one or two questions. in this particular thing because it was kind of pushing us towards it because the question prior to this, um, what I had to do because I am a very compromising human being. I don't like conflict, but I'm very good at resolving conflict. You know what I'm saying? So
Uh-huh.
the thing about it was what I needed to understand is how much I cared about who I was. See, a lot of times, and I'm not no profound human being. I can sound like it and I can be that, right? But what I needed to understand was what did I care? How did I feel about me? What the, I could give the world to people, right? But if it didn't feel good, giving it to them, even though it's the right thing to do now, if it didn't feel good, I had to examine, that had to be me. Not making excuses like, what did I do for them to treat me this way? Fuck that. I knew, excuse my language, everybody. I knew that I did everything possible. And
Hmm.
the four of us can relate to this. I did everything possible to make that thing right for that person that I cared about. That's relationships, that's the friendships, the whole nine. I gave of myself, right?
Hmm.
So I got to the point where I had to understand if I gave of myself, then myself is enough because I was responsible enough to do what? To understand that I'm being real, I am being authentic to you.
Hmm.
Because it's very hard for us all to be authentic. I think the four of us can agree with that.
I don't
Not
know.
because we're not capable of it, it's because we don't train ourselves to be that way. Because we look, think about it. With our relationships, it's all cookie cutter until we decide to step outside of it. You feel me? It's just what it is.
Hmm.
You know?
Man, if I choose to give my whole self, right? I know that it took me having awareness and being responsible for whatever comes with it. You know what I'm saying? Is my point. I did whatever it took for me to be honest with myself about how I feel in a relationship. If it doesn't coincide with the other person, I don't blame them for that because they're not where I'm at. That was my choice.
I get it.
I leave. You know what I'm saying? I chose to be vulnerable in that situation.
You taking power over your situation.
Right. So at the end of the day, man, I'm not gonna say, man, I gave my whole self, and you on some bullshit. You maybe you just don't know how to be that
That's real.
because at the end of the day, for me to have the courage to be that, I had awareness of myself. You understand what I'm saying? And that took time, and that took understanding of myself, and that took courage.
That's real.
Everybody don't have that, man. So whatever transpired after me being that person, do I be like sit back and say, you jacked up because you ain't like me? When it took me in my own maturation process to be that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that took courage. Am I diminished because you ain't where I'm at? Do I judge you because you don't have the wherewithal or understanding to be where I'm at? When it took me courage to be that,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? I'm not judging you. I'm staying on point with myself. I'm trying to be my best self. You might never catch up with me, but I'm not going to judge you because I recognize I was where you was at.
No doubt. No doubt.
I recognize where you was at. So it ain't about you and how you think about me.
It's how you think about yourself.
It's how I think about myself. And if I'm giving my best self without animosity, let me emphasize that. Because I'm not finna be. I'm finna not let your pettiness define who I am when I'm trying to be my best self. That's crazy.
Yeah. Jaquari.
But that's what the fight is. I mean,
You right.
we uh we approach relationships, man. You know, with with all these barriers up. Well, personally, I do. I have a lot of barriers, man. And the work of trying to get past those barriers, that's the thing that fulfills me within relationships. You know, the making it work. Like when I'm dealing with difficult people, like if we're in a room full of 10 people and one guy is or one person, male or female, doesn't matter. Everybody is like, that guy's an asshole. That woman's an asshole. And not that I will go out of my way to try to find some kind of connection with that person, but I'm open to it. You know, I try not to close myself off. From feeling anything, because for a lot of years, shit, I suppressed that shit. For a lot of years, I fantasized about being the person that I'm trying to be now.
No
So
doubt.
I respect the statement you made about putting in the work, Damon. I really do. You know, but realistically, man, you know I'm starting to get into the mindset to where and I believe it's because I'm becoming older and ornery. Like I'm not really willing to extend myself any further than I see the next person extend themselves. And that's not conducive to anything except
The fact
distance.
that the fact that you understand yourself more, that's why
But
you don't do
but
it.
but but here is the thing, man. Let me say this, man. Here's the thing, man. When I'm being real with myself, ain't nobody gonna come up to me going through any situation and say charge you to the game. You ain't gonna diminish me like that, man. You're not gonna diminish me like that.
I got
Charge what you not choosing to deal with your shit.
no doubt.
You know what I'm saying? I'm dealing with mine, and you gonna come at me and say charge it to the game? Oh, no, you trying to win on some old bull, some bogus bullshit, not no real shit. You know what I'm saying? And who I am and who I chose to be in that situation is what it is. Now, at the end of the day, I would venture to guess. At the end of the day, you gonna come to the conclusion that damn, that motherfucker was real because he
All
ain't
right.
making any excuses. He ain't
Yeah.
making any excuses.
Does that bring you peace though?
Yes, it
That
brings me absolute peace.
It depends on the individual. Hold on, Jaquan. Hold on. Danny, I know you want to say something. Hit us in the head.
You know what? I actually, I actually was just like listening just now. I think we had already kind of answered like the
Yeah, you
particular
have.
question that you asked, but I think it you had said something about you know just being authentic and stuff like that, and I think that comes back to what I talked about vulnerability. When you feel like you're in a space where you're safe and in a situation where you can, let your guard down, just really truly be your complete authentic self, good, bad, indifferent, then that's indicative of, a time when you're in a good spot and you're in a good relationship with somebody else, when you know that you don't have to hide you don't have to hide your hurt parts. So you don't have to hide the things about you that aren't so easy to take. You know what I
Right.
mean?
No doubt. No doubt. All right. Well, look, this is what we're gonna do.
Well, Danny,
Jaquar,
you said
yeah,
earlier
hold
you
on.
spoke
Wait,
to.
Fluke. Hold on for a second. Jaquar, you go ahead and finish what you're gonna say. Fluke, we're gonna give you your usual at the end. All right. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna let Jaquari finish his statement, and then we're gonna go to you, Danny, give your impression about our episode tonight, how you feel, what's going on, was it or whatever, right? And then
Uh,
we're gonna let Damon go into his segue into the ending of the show. Okay, go ahead,
okay.
Jaquan.
No, it was just like I just had a thought about, we've all been talking about how you know how important it is for us to give a certain amount of ourselves to relationships and everything. But how important is it for you to hold on to just that small part of yourself that
Very
makes you
important.
you? No
Oh
matter
my
no no
God.
no matter how
Very
good or
important.
how bad it is, how important is it to hold on to that?
Very important.
Listen, very important. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Keith. Go ahead.
No, no, no. You good? Go ahead. I was just
I think it, in relationships, it's so easy to lose yourself. It's so easy to um as simple as just now all your friends are that other person's friends. You only hang out with them, or you only do what they like to do, or some people don't want to compromise. They don't want to do anything but what they want to do. And you got to recognize in relationships that you have to be, some is going to be what you want, some is going to be what they want. But unfortunately, it's so easy to get lost in a relationship. And I mean, how many times do we see it? You see it on TV, you see it when people talk about relationships that went bad. Like, I lost myself. I wasn't, excuse me, able to be myself. So,
bless you.
yeah, instead of being long winded, thank you. It's so important to hold on to who you are, because if you don't, you can't be happy. At some point, trying to, accommodate somebody else and not just, holding on to yourself is not going to get you anywhere. It's going to make you miserable and resentful. So yeah, you gotta maintain that stuff about you that makes you you and that makes you happy.
Okay. Close it off, Jaquari. Then we're gonna go to Damon.
Now, happiness and peace is a journey. It's not a destination.
That's real. That's real. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we come into the segment that Damon Armstrong always has. We always give him the last couple minutes of the episode. Is
Oh,
this look?
so
No, no,
1 second. I'm sorry.
go ahead.
Before you
Go ahead,
close out, I just want to say, because I only responded to the question, I ain't talk about the whole podcast. I have thoroughly enjoyed my conversation
oh,
with you
hold on,
guys.
Damon. Hold
Thank
on,
you.
hold on,
Are we
hold on.
not ready for that yet?
We
Okay,
got
go
you.
ahead.
We
I
got
thought
you.
you said Damon was ending it. Okay, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
No, no, no. His little segment. Now
Hey,
we
Keith.
usually
Hey,
Oh, okay, okay.
after he's done, we usually we got you. We
hey,
got you,
Keith.
Damon.
Oh, okay. Okay, okay,
Look, we told we was gonna take care of you. We got
okay. Okay, I'll
Somebody,
just sit here and look cute and wait. Okay.
some, yeah, somebody ain't never watched the show, Keith.
you. Hey, go ahead, Damon.
I ain't watching to the end. Let's say that.
And there's a
Go,
reason for that too, right?
look, hit us in the head, dog.
No, what I want to talk about, man, is lately, man, I've been thinking about our young black brothers, man, killing each other and doing the things that they're doing, man, making it popular, making it whatever, man. And it's like I was trying to figure out how to address that, and you know, videos. We got videos of cats killing each other, ops and all that
Yeah,
bullshit.
yeah.
And I've struggled with that, man, for a minute. And I was like, you know what, man? What can I say or whatever, to bump a cat's head, man, to get him to think that's not the life to live or whatever, man. Then I started thinking about, okay, what can I do or what have I done in my life that combats all that bullshit, that craziness, man. It's like cats possessed by a evil force or whatever. And this is what I came up with, man. I raised my son, good dude, very good dude, you know. And I was thinking about, well, how did I go about the process of making him a good black man? And what I did was, I remembered, man, the whole process of raising him and all that stuff. And what I came up with is that I remember when he was old enough, I was getting ready to spank him about some things that I felt he needed to be checked on or whatever, right? And I chose to bring out the belt. I chose to bring out the belt, and my whole intention was to break him, literally. If I'm
Wow,
being honest with myself, was to break him,
that's
to
deep.
change him from him being who he is, right or wrong. I chose to spank him, whoop him with a belt. And when I was going through the process of whooping him with a belt, I realized that I was breaking my son. I was breaking. And where the hell that shit come from? That come from the slavery days and shit. And I never whipped him again. Yo, I'm gonna beat my son to get him to think on the lines of society and shit. I'm gonna break him from thinking independently and shit instead of having a conversation with him. You know what I'm saying? And that was one of the things, man, that I was consistent with in my life. Never to ever break his spirit. Ever. And he's a good man. I am so proud of it. So when I look at the landscape and these brothers killing each other, how many of those brothers that killed another brother was broken? They was told that who they was didn't matter. The only thing that matters is that you can come to the conclusion, man, that you can get so angry or so mad at another person that looks like you that you would take their life, man, without understanding them, without breaking them. You know what I'm saying? So that's where I'm at. I'm like, what was the answer? I took the time to find the answer to bring to these young brothers, man, to give them understanding. So I can never understand that their passion and their love for their other brother who got killed by I can never understand that.
Bless.
But what I can understand is that if I can get them to recognize that when they boy call him a nigga is what it is, though. That's not a term of endearment. A nigga is what it is. When you call a girl you trying to kick it with and you say I'm finna go over my bitch house, really? Really? Words matter.
They
Definitions
do.
matter.
They do.
You know what I'm saying? So how do we see each other? How do we overcome? It ain't through marching, it's through words, man. When we choose to call each other. Fight, hoe, bitch, nigga, dog, pimp. All that shit is negative connotations, man, that we use towards each other. And guess where it's invented at? It's invented in our fucking, excuse my language, it's invented between black people. How we choose to look at each other. So how do Dani find a good man? She ain't gonna find no good man who was raised being called a nigga. You know what I'm saying? It's not gonna happen. So I'm gonna change my vocabulary, man. I'm gonna change how I see. I'm gonna use my experience with my son to be a better OG, and that's a negative connotation. As a
Hmm.
black man, I have to take responsibility to be better, and that all starts with me and my how I think. You know what I'm saying? You don't talk. You don't tell no. This is my last point. You don't tell no kid who get bad grades. You don't call him a dummy. You convince him to work harder.
That's real.
But you don't call him a dummy because he gonna take that. You don't call the nigga stank. How you gonna take on a name? A name. My nickname Fluky. What does fluke mean? What do fluky mean? But that's my nickname. It's what we call each other and how we treat each other that matters, and that's what's gonna make the difference, man. Negative connotations, man, is gonna dictate young people's lives, man. And that's the bottom line. So we got to change that. We got to be more positive. We got to give them positive shit moving forward, and that's gonna stop them from killing each other. Because if we don't stop them from killing each other, all four of us, man, how many of us are gonna look like young people? How many of them gonna look like us? You know what I'm saying? It's
Okay.
40. It was 50 million of us, man. If you break it down and you take out the mixed aspects of it, or whatever, what is it? 35 million of us. And that's less than 50 years ago.
No doubt. No doubt.
You know what I'm saying? So how we gonna
Okay.
survive, man?
Okay, my guy. Look at you trying to get deep on a motherfucker. I got you.
No, no.
Wow.
I
I
got
was
you.
just thinking about that, man. It was something that plagued me, man, for a long time,
Hell
man.
of a job, man. Hell of a job. All right,
Hell of
big
a
brother.
job.
Last word before we go to Danny. What's your last words, my guy?
It was a pleasure having you. Uh,
Thank you.
thank you very much for your time. Uh, and I hope this podcast experience was better than the last.
Absolutely. It's if nothing more, it is absolutely memorable. Um, Go ahead. Keep you or me with how we do this. Me and you.
All right, Danny. Well, look. Look, you had a speech you wanted to you hit us in the head with. There it is. Do it.
Yeah, this was a really so before hearing Damon's last words, it was a really good experience.
Oh
And I
my
really
God,
enjoyed.
you broke
No,
my heart, really?
No, no,
be
go ahead, go
easy,
ahead, go
be easy, be easy.
Okay.
Before that, it was a really good experience, and I really enjoyed talking to you guys. But after hearing Damon deliver his last comments, my mind's like not my mind is blown, but you was really talking. I mean, just really saying some good stuff. I mean, the part about like breaking our kids, man, that's big. Like we gotta build these kids up. You know what I mean? I ain't gonna go on and on because I'm gonna get emotional, but that was a word, and I appreciate it. So thank
Thank
y'all
you.
so much for having me.
Oh, thank
This
you.
was a really good experience, and I will definitely remember it.
Look
Thanks a
at
lot.
me personally, Danny. I knew because you know I asked you a long time ago. I
Uh-huh.
knew this was gonna be what it is. There's no doubt about it. Always look when you was a youngin. Always looked at you and this is your whole crew. Tina, everybody, great human beings. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
what's up.
So that's what's going on with me. Now, let me do this. Do some house cleaning, right? Some housekeeping. First of all, this is Strong Perspective Podcast. We on YouTube. We got a YouTube channel. Go to our YouTube channel, Strong Perspective Podcast. Like, share, and subscribe. You know why? Because we want to reach as many people with our conversations, because that's what we're doing. This is a conversation with everyday people. This is what we do. And we do it fucking great. I'm
Yeah,
cursing because that's real. Right?
great.
Now, I want to thank everybody that commented. Angie, what's going on? Marcella, you know what I mean? Althea, the Mo, you know what I'm saying? Roz, thank you for your comments. You know what I'm saying? Stacy, Cuz, love you, boy. You know what I mean? Sherelle, thank you. Malika, Eric, our homie, thank you. Thank you for your comments. Y'all did a great job, family. Y'all really did a great job. Thank you for your comments. You know what I mean? KJ, you know how we
What
are.
up, bro?
What's
What's going
going
on?
on, baby boy? Thank you for tuning in. Hell the pit. The majority was pit, baby. That's what's up.
Hey,
You know what I mean?
Hey, yo, before we leave,
Yeah,
let me
go
say
ahead,
real
Detroit.
quick, Malika, cuz you dropping the ball. You
Yeah,
got
you
some hell
are.
of comments.
You are. You need to come on the show, Malika.
Yeah, people need to see your face for real.
That's real.
Real talk. Real talk.
Danny, Jaquari, and Damon, great damn job as always. Danny, we're gonna give you the last word, but stay on. When we go off live, we're gonna have a little 5 minute joint, but we're gonna give
Okay.
you the last word.
um, again, just thank you guys so much for having me. I've totally enjoyed the conversation. Like I said before, I love black men, and nothing like being able to hear a man speak intelligently, give good perspective, and nice to hear from men who really care, you know what I mean, about our community. So again, thank y'all. Damon, again, great words. I loved it. So anybody watching, make sure y'all tune in. Like he said, make sure you subscribe, support these black men, and doing their thing.
Thank you.
All right, man. Hey, love y'all, brothers, sister. Love y'all.
Love you
Love
too,
y'all, man.
bro.
Love you
Love ya.
back.
All
Y'all be
right
safe.
now. Strong perspective.